Alrighty, welcome to my review of the 2023 Ford Raptor. Now, I've had this car since May. Okay, it is now the 30th of November. It's got 17,657 kilometers on, a gorgeous 17,657 kilometers. Now, if you know me with my dyslexia, that is extremely difficult to say. So, some of the things I like about the Raptor and some of the things that I don't like about the Raptor is what we're going to be going through in today's video. Now, I'm actually on my way somewhere significant. Don't worry, we're not on the big roads yet. We're sort of still in the estate where we stay. But I wanted an Americanized Raptor pretty much since I saw the first American Raptors, you know, the F-150 Raptors. Now, the Ranger Raptor is not that, okay? It is, however, pretty freaking awesome. The suspension on this thing is next level. We finally got a twin turbo V6 in this. And to be quite honest, it's thirsty. Okay, so I'm not getting 7 kilometers per liter, and I've been driving very nicely for the while. Oh, an electric scooter. More on that later. That's super cool. So currently I'm getting 6.7 kilometers per liter, not liters per 100 kilometers. So that is important to note there. And I've been driving nicely. You know, I've used this to go hunting, get my kid from school, just a daily, you know, a run around. And also in today's video, I'm going to tell you why I'm going to end up selling the Raptor. Sorry, I was just signing out security there. Now, ever since I got it, the very first thing that I didn't like about the new Raptor is all the red accents. It is crazy. They went all out. We've got my bag over there. But there's red in the seats. There's red freaking everywhere. And I'm more of a, you know, do the nice red stitching like we have down here. Like, that's kind of my vibe. Even this is okay. But the whole madness in red really didn't do it for me. And at some point, I was actually considering reupholstering the seats. But if you know me, you know that I tend to not keep cars this long. Now, for the regular viewers that have been watching this channel, I've been uploading sporadically. But what I was thinking of doing is actually converting this into a car channel, because I've got friends with some really cool cars, and you know, we've made a substantial effort on the firearms side on YouTube to grow, you know, sort of that channel. And if we could do the same in the car space, that would be very cool. So this is kind of my first take on doing a car video. Now, back to the Raptor. It's a phenomenally driving car. If you have it in sort of its eco mode, if you will, it's freaking stunning. It's a lovely, lovely motor car. Now, it can also turn into an absolute beast and light up the rear tires like it just did, you know, without really trying that much. And this is still like in the normal mode. So it can do that. And my little girl, when I get her from school, she says to me, "Papa tires," which means, you know, light up the tires when we do certain turns. It drifts nicely around traffic circles. Now, 294 kilowatt with the BF Goodrich all-terrains that this sucker comes with is not gonna last very long. So if you drive like that, it is not gonna last very long. If you look behind me, you will see my Porsche Cayenne, or Porsche depending where you're from, following us, because we're actually on our way to a dealership to drop off this very Raptor. Now, outside I went for a white one. Okay, I've always been a fan of white cars. It's just kind of what it is. I like the white look with the black bits of trim and stuff. It looks really, really nice on this spec car. I didn't go for a canopy. Now, why is the reason we're selling this? Let's get past this old generation Raptor. Speaking about that, while we do that, we're not going over the speed limit, obviously. I really loved the previous generation Raptor too. However, it just did not have the juice. When you put your foot down, it wouldn't respond in a way that, you know, you want a car of that sort of look to respond. And in fact, some would argue that it could potentially be a little bit dangerous. And, you know, it depends what kind of driving you do. But when we want to get past big truck or a row of trucks, because we have those in South Africa, because our railway network is basically non-existent at this point, and you want to overtake 1 or 2 trucks, if you don't have the Vuma to go for it, you can get yourself in some scary situations. Now add to the fact when you're putting a trailer or something like that, obviously the Raptors aren't designed to tow stuff, you know, it's not great. Whereas conversely on this, I've pulled you know, my camping setup, I've pulled our hunting trailer with a lot of meat, I've loaded a lot of meat on the back, and it's never had an issue with putting power down when we need it. Now circling back to the canopy thing I was saying earlier, that's one of the reasons why I'm selling this. I don't like how, for me personally, this is my personal opinion, I really don't like how the truck looks, or the bucky as we call it here in South Africa, looks when you put a canopy on. And I know there's some very pretty canopies out there which aren't you know, they aren't cheap, but I just don't like the styling. And as a result of that, you're basically limited to putting stuff on the 2 rear seats at the back there. And you know, I'm in the firearms space, so we're often driving to matches and stuff with firearms, and it's really not, you know, the best. So in a real world situation, an SUV is probably a much better bet. So stick around on this channel to see what car I'm actually replacing this Raptor with, because I'm getting that tomorrow morning. Now I've got a few other cars on order, and then I'm going to kind of decide which ones we go for. But it is an exciting time, and I've always been kind of, you know, a motorhead type person. So hopefully you guys are enjoying this style of video. Obviously if we do a car channel, it won't be this. I'm kind of forced to do this video like this purely because I won't have this car in 30 minutes from now, so I've got to get the video done. Now, a couple of cool things that this does. For example, if you're sending a voice memo thing on your phone, or as we call them here in South Africa, voice notes, if your aircon is on full blast, it'll actually like temporarily dim the aircon so that the guy, you know, on the other side can get better audio quality. And little things like that is super cool. I think value for money wise, this is an insane buy at just over R1 million. 1.15 million is what I paid for it. And yes, I'm gonna lose a significant amount of money when I sell this today. It could have been worse, okay? So 1.1 million, you get the Matrix headlights, which are basically, if you haven't seen those in a car, it is ridiculous. First time I saw them was when I got my Cayenne, and it basically, if a car comes from the front in the night, it'll individually turn off the LEDs to keep that car in the dark and still have your bright headlights on. It is a remarkable technology. This has adaptive cruise control. It's really spec'd very well for, you know, a sort of stock configuration. Obviously you cannot go on the website and play around with the Ford Ranger Raptor car configurator, and that's one of the ways they keep the cost down, by just eliminating options. So basically your only option you can have in this is the color that you get it in, and even that is limited to, I think there's 5 color options. Personally, I really like that aluminium gray color. It is also very nice, or aluminum depending on where you're from in the world. Then the Apple CarPlay connection and all of those things is wonderful. The one thing it doesn't do great is the MDT SkyPod put a hole through the door, so there's that. Then on a material selection, that was obviously 100% my fault. On a material selection, I like the soft touch features we have here. Everything feels really premium. I do think, however, the dash in the previous gen Raptor, I mean, look at that flex we have over there. That feels super cheap. I'm obviously not touching that surface often, but it feels cheap, and I never really liked that about it. And when I got in my colleague's Raptor, it's much nicer on the dash itself. But other than that, I really didn't have major complaints with this car. It's a wonderful car. If you're on the fence about buying a Ranger Raptor, these are freaking awesome. Beware, you're gonna take a hiding if you buy a new one like mine. Okay, I'm chipping in 60,000 Rand to get out of my finance basically. So it's not great, but you know, 60 grand goes a hell of a long way in South Africa. So it's still a significant amount of money. It's about $3,000, give or take the current exchange rate. Then a couple of modifications I've done. I've added the Ultra Vision LED spots in the front, game changer. I've got a video on my other channel how to wire those in. Those lights have been a game changer when we go hunting and stuff like that. And those lights really have been a game changer with the amount of light I'm able to put down when we go on these long hunting trips, and we're often driving in the middle of the night. And if you know a kudu likes to run in front of cars, and it can be extremely dangerous. Also in South Africa, it's not uncommon to see cows and things in the night next to the side of the road. Cyclists wearing all black, it's dodgy. So yeah, more light is better in my opinion, and those installed really well, and I actually did a video. Then other modifications I made, I designed a phone modification that sits like that. You know, if I'm driving back from a match, it's Saturday afternoon, I can still have like sort of the Formula 1 qualifying on there, keep an eye on it, or during the World Cup, it was also super cool to catch, you know, a peak of a game here or there, or pull over and watch a really great moment or something like that. So I can leave a link to that if you guys want. Really cool product, should be pretty inexpensive to manufacture because there's a lot of guys, and they'll also fit on the regular wild tracks. Now with that said, all in, I think again, phenomenal value for money. It's fast. I was expecting it to be faster. Now, I haven't had a bucky or a truck before, okay? This is my first one that I've bought. I had that Isuzu for a while, and that was very slow. This thing is pretty freaking awesome. And there's about 10% of the BFs left behind on the tar over there. So this thing is fast. I was expecting it to be faster. Why is that? Purely because my Cayenne has 324 kilowatt. This has 294 or something like that, and I was expecting it to be similar, but that was doof. That was stupid from my side. It's obviously going to be slower because the gearing is way different. I do, however, am very disappointed that Ford somehow didn't figure out how to make that car more fuel efficient. Now, it is built like a piece of Lego, okay, so it's not exactly aerodynamic, but with the 10-speed gearbox and a modern day engine and the technology we have, holy moly guys, you could have done a little bit better, you know. Yes, give me all the performance and stuff when I go to sport mode, but at least when I'm like in the normal mode, give me some form of economy. Like 6.7 is unacceptable, I feel like. You know, my Cayenne has phenomenal performance. It's also aerodynamic, but it turns into an absolute demon when you go into sport mode, and so does this. But when it's not, it's very economical to drive. And I know you can't have it both ways. You know, the old Raptor wasn't fast enough, but it was economic. Now the new one is fast, but it's not economic. So there's that argument to it. But I feel like with the 10-speed gearbox especially, they could have done significantly better. So guys, that's kind of my thoughts on the Ranger Raptor as we get passed by a Kia truck on the side here. Yeah, also this thing limits out, okay, at 187 I feel is the limit, and it's got plenty more juice to go after that. Now, why do I know what the limit is? On a hunting trip, my daughter became extremely sick, and we were in the middle of nowhere, and I had to rush to get medicine, and I was just sending it to town, and it's like you drive into a wall. You can almost feel it hitting the sort of software limit. So yeah guys, we're halfway to the destination where we need to be to drop this sucker off. I am gonna miss the Raptor. It was awesome. Will I buy one again in the future? Maybe, I don't know. I always chop and change cars, so if you want to see what is next, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. And for now, I am gonna be driving my new electric vehicle, okay, that I'm thoroughly enjoying. It's certainly not what you think it is. So with that said guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I would have overlaid some fun we've had with this car throughout its brief lifespan in the Milan family. It was a fat jaw, and I do not regret buying this car for 1 second. It's been a great buy. It's just time to move on, and you know, no hard feelings towards Ford. And I got a lot of points from my bank with all the fuel that I put in the sucker. Okay guys, see ya.